Well, look at that, ladies and gentlemen. We have returned for the third game between Gambit, eSports, and Team EmpH. They are dragging this down the line. Both teams refusing to give in here, refusing to miss out on the chance to go to the Chongqing Major. And Alan, they sure looked like both sides were fighting for it last game. That was...
Absolutely. We had no reason through the first game and about 30 minutes of this series, we had no reason to believe that it was going to be competitive, much less that we were going to get a game 3. But Team EmpH hope to come roaring back behind some great Sanking play by Akulich. And on the other side, you really, Gambit eSports, sorry, come roaring back. You really have to question whether MYS Moon is going to be in this game. That was a 5th pick slaughter. That was their gotcha pick that went 0-15 in that last game. Really needs to perform in this one, or it's going to be Team EmpH Hope going home.
Indeed it is. I mean, MYS right now, he's got to be feeling like that guy that took 2 free kicks and a penalty, fluffed all of them. Now he's like, overtime, you're at penalty shootout. He's the last person on your entire squad to take the shot. You can feel the pressure. That is a good way to start for him, though. Like, Centaur, an easier hero than StarLadder to execute, I say.
I agree. I have been one of those that has been slow to come around on Centaur because this hero is not a great blink initiator. There's quite a bit of cast delay on his hoof stomp. So even if he gets that blink dagger early, it's not, it doesn't go through BKB like a Berserker's Call does. But I'm coming around. The hero's a very strong laner. He offers a lot of burst damage from very early on in the game with his magical combo. It makes very, very efficient use of these utility items. So when you're talking about, your hoods, your pipes, your crimson guards, this is a hero that can build them up early. And that Stampede is an escape mechanism. The way team fights are being played right now, very, very useful.
Indeed it is. And, well, we have seen the Rubik and the Lich picked up, which is just, whatever. Typical. This is what we're seeing at the moment. I don't feel like... It's been a long while since the first pick supports have been so valuable. And, oh, wow.
Oh my! Well, there's a hero that just kind of has gotten forgotten about, but is on everybody's list of most broken stuff right now. And look at this. Take a second to appreciate like how nasty this opening is by Gambit. These are two heroes that can both be shown as supports or cores, and have been really scary in both roles so far in this patch, and have some synergy together. By the way.
Yeah, definitely. With the Arcane Supremacy and the ability to run people down. Like, Dazzle is the king of just harassment in lane right now. Almost impossible to outdo him, right? Like, even Bane, like, you just have to throw a Nightmare on him and walk away from Dazzle. That's your option.
Yeah, it's very... These are two heroes. And again, when you're in the pro game, one of the things that you always look at is heroes that were already... getting some play, getting some looks from even the top teams, and then subsequently got buffed. And Rubik and Dazzle both fall into that category.
It's true. This is everyone, we've talked about how this is the patch of Agi heroes, but in the back of your mind, you got to admit it's the patch of supports as well. At least a few of them. A select group.
The select few. I think that overall it's the patch of carries, right? I think that this when the dust settles and you look at how the meta is, I think it's going to overall, this patch is a huge net buff to carries, a huge net buff to carries that have physical damage output in particular. But I think that these are the two sort of supports that basically got turned into flex picks and are very, very on either.
There is a TA ban coming out, which could suggest that they might have something in mind like an Invoker per se. I mean,
I think it also, it's interesting. I think it also preserves the option for big mid.
Yeah, because of course you can reduce damage to the Fade Bolt, but you've got the issue that it's got refraction,
exactly,
which increases damage by a lot.
Exactly. You don't. It's kind of the same theory. You don't want to face up against a TA mid. Rubik just does not sustain well against that side blade harass.
Hey, but you got the flexibility, all right? You take the Dazzle there instead in the mid lane. They have got options. Gambit technically have 2 mids already on the field as options. Interesting to see where they go. The Ember did get banned out, I think it's been Empire consistently banning this through the series. I definitely saw it banned first game with the Magnus appearing. And I believe it was Empire that banned that. Yeah. So they've got something against Ember. I don't feel like I've seen Gambit necessarily performing out of their mind when they've picked Ember, so I don't think that's what it is.
Alpha Ninja has some. I mean, Alpha Ninja, if you go way back, has some really good Ember games in his past.
That's true.
I don't know that necessarily he'd be the one playing it, but he is a very good Ember player. I don't necessarily like Ember Spirit in this patch in general, but I'm open to it.
Yeah, I think he's suffering a little bit when it comes to placing him in the mid lane. You want him in the mid lane because you want to get these quick levels and then just rotate, but with the new choice of mid heroes, and it was always going this way with the shortening of the lane, it's very hard for you to run down and kill people.
Well, I maybe I'll go back on that a little bit. Ember could come out okay because one of Ember's big problems is that when you strip out all his spells, which are very powerful, he actually has one of the worst stat gains in the game. Like his stats are terrible. But now that stat items are a lot better, I mean he suffers from the loss of Aquila, but we'll see. I like this. I like this team fight combo on the side of Empire. The Phoenix, not necessarily a hard counter to BKB, but it does give a BKB carrier something to worry about in the egg. So you have that box sort of checked here.
Somewhat, yeah.
But again, I just, I worry that you've let these two just crazy flex picks through on the side of Gambit that could easily be the support duo. You have very little information if you're Empire, and you've given away a lot of, that the last two picks are going to be your cores.
It's a fair point. And looking at the state of this game, like you said, they have got this big clump of team fight on the side of Team Empire. They have got layers to this team fight as well. And I do like to talk about the anarchy, and there's a lot of chaos from these three heroes. But as you said, you've let these two very flexible heroes through that are incredibly threatening when it comes to your attempts to take over lanes, right? Dazzle will aggress you. Rubik with the Fable makes it hard for you to aggress. And speaking of hard to aggress.
Okay. Now, this is something to remember. It probably is not going to happen in this game, but if you want to talk about, remember that Tidehunter has been run as a mid by this team yesterday. Ran Alpha Ninja mid Tidehunter. And this, by the way, this Solar Crest build, Solar Crest Deso that we saw is a thing in this patch on the Tidehunter. Synergizes incredibly well with his skill set. All that minus armor coming out and the physical damage from the Gush and then the Anchor Smash. I mean, this hero is it makes this hero incredibly threatening even when Ravage is down to supports.
True. And any other hero that would want to try and do that sort of build usually has to think about items that would tank you up. Well, guess what? This guy is just naturally tanky. Great strength gained, and he has a passive that benefits him in terms of staying in the fight for longer.
Yeah, it's in a way, right? You can argue that Tidehunter is stupid status because Kraken Shell just gets rid of that. You have an 18-second disable. Well, it doesn't matter when damage threshold is just gone. And of course, gee, is that the same hero that was just picked on sides?
They look a little bit similar, okay? Because we are
Juggervoid.
Juggervoid? Is that what we're going for?
Juggervoid. Oh yeah. Well, of course we're talking.
Faceless Void is this. So Juggernaut is the master, and Faceless Void is the apprentice. He's learning. He's eventually going to get there.
I think I don't know.
Give it a few patches. He'll have Omni Slash built into his bash. It's all good.
Yeah, I think you're gonna see the Sith thing going on in this game because I think the apprentice slays the master right now. Tempo carries in general got a massive buff in this patch, and Juggernaut, sitting very high on the list of beneficiaries there. With the rework to spell immunity, Blade Fury now gives him a lot to work with. The new Omni Slash is actually not an unambiguous buff, especially when you have Fire Spirits, right? If you get Fire Spirit as Juggernaut and you Omni Slash, you're very you don't do very much damage at all. And Juggernaut's Omni Slash, technically you are spell immune during the Omni Slash, but it's one of the few sources of spell immunity in the game that doesn't apply a purge when it first goes off. So if you're slowed by Fire Spirits and you Omni Slash, I believe you still have that attack speed debuff going.
I think so. I believe so, yeah.
So I'm not I'm not as confident as I would be. Now, Blade Fury does purge, okay, but I'm not as confident as I would. And you can Blade Fury can with your normal attacks.
Second,
because you can Blade Fury and kill the egg with your normal attacks.
Yeah,
because Blade Fury has this weird thing where you technically attack during Blade Fury, but if the target is taking damage from Blade Fury, your attacks do no damage. But you can, for example, Blade Fury and attack a tower, and you can Blade Fury and attack the Phoenix Egg.
well, that's a fair point. I think the big concern is going to be around these big fat ults of Tide and Faceless Void. But the difference, of course, is that Void's ult, you can drop that. Doesn't matter if you've got magic immunity. Nothing's going to happen. Whereas Tide, you can build BKBs against this.
Yeah.
There's a lot more, I think, order to Empire's team fight, if that makes sense, right? Like you just drop the egg, you chrono, you got Stampede to relocate and get in those fights as well. Whereas Gambit, they are very focused on making sure none of their lanes lose. And speaking of cookie cutter picks to try and make sure you don't lose, not necessarily win a lane, I'm being harsh. In fairness, if you take Mirana plus Dazzle, that's incredibly strong.
It is incredibly strong, but you end up a lot weaker against BKB than I thought when you were showing off Rubik and Dazzle as your picks. Void is going to pick up a reasonably timed BKB, I think, in this game. You have a lot of tempo, right? You can win. You can show a lot of aggressive lanes and put damage on tower Juggernaut, but you're kind of one-dimensional as Gambit in this one. And Rubik, the arcane supremacy is straight out broken, but it doesn't scare you nearly as much when it's a Rubik. And I love that Faceless Void Invoker it's been a great combo for a long time. It's still a great combo. Yeah. I like this Empire draft a lot.
Especially if this is going to be a Quas Wex Invoker, you just basically create all the space that Faceless Void ever needs and just control that mid game. Which, when you look at Gambit, I mean, Tide, we've talked about this right-click build. How are you going to get in these fights? You've got some slows, sure, but how often are you going to hit an arrow that locks them in place long enough for you to just melt through them with the right clicks? Yeah,
and it honestly, I think it may not happen. I think this game is a little bit more than this, but you are going to see a lot of games match, which are basically race to BKBs, and then can the other side do it? And if both sides get their BKBs at about the same time, the fact is that Team Empire Hope can deal with BKBs on the opposing side just fine. Gambit Esports has really nothing against it at all.
Is that kind of interesting? Like, we've been talking a lot about the BKB indirect buffs with the removal of a lot of spells that would actually pierce. I say indirect, it's basically direct, but the indirect result is another reason Faceless Void is so strong isn't just because it's an agi hero lul. It's also because, well, guess what? Chrono, BKB does nothing against that. So while BKB got buffed, this is a hero that indirectly got buffed because he's a counter to it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And those, when you're talking about Dota played at this level, they really do matter.
Well, looks like we're ready to get underway. Game 3, our first game 3, Alan. We finally got it.
And we had absolutely no right. I mean, really, this was a series that it looked like, it looked like Gambit were just out of it at about 30 minutes into that last game, and I give them tremendous credit for coming back. And again, keep your camera on that MYS center. He took a gut shot in that last game. He had about as bad a game as you're going to see at this level of Dota, and he's once again in a lineup where he's going to need to do a lot.
It's true. Needs a good timing on his blink. Eventually needs to get that Ags at decent timing as well, because of course, if an Omni Slash does come out first and you Faceless Void, he can tank it pretty well with the Stampede and a Time Walk.
By the way, shout out to the Vanscore Dazzle. This guy has been a Dazzle back in the Power Ranger days. He has been one of the top Dazzle players in the world for like a period of 5 years or he's one of those guys that, we'll allow it.
Yeah, that's fair. Interestingly enough, Gambit always do this. They always stick 2 supports top.
Yeah, and they've been. I like what they've been doing with, because they've been rotating out of it. They've been showing this sort of making the enemy have to worry about the tri lane. And you saw a couple of games ago they abandoned it. They abandoned it about 3 minutes in. The last game they went out of it immediately. But I think if you're going to show this kind of aggression, the timing of your rotation out of that lane is what's really going to determine whether it's worthwhile.
I think the thing to highlight, though, is Team Empire started to read this correctly. They immediately started switching, as you can see now.
Yep.
And at the same time, they traded a lot better. They put a lot of damage on the hack because they knew he was going to be alone.
Yep. But, again, they anticipate that response, and it's going to be Vance again TPing to that shrine and coming right out of it.
I should be pointing out... I was going to say, I should be pointing out how effective Dazzle is against the Void, because, yes, you can offset a big spike of damage, but Poison Touch is just a constant.
Yeah, and of course, something that we absolutely should have mentioned in the draft is the value of any save against that Chronosphere. Like that is obviously the first best thing is to have like a Naga song, but very, very close behind that is any save to prevent those single target Chrono kills early and then to disrupt the Chrono on the high value target late.
Meanwhile, mid, decent start for Invoker, taking lead already, but you kind of typically see this against Miranas. They don't have the best damage to begin with.
Yeah, it's your damage and your animation, right? It's something that a lot of top carry players have to practice with Mirana specifically to get that animation down. It's the same problem you have with Drow.
She does, however, have fantastic stat gains. So around level 4, we should see her take control of the CSing, especially since this is a Quaswex Invoker.
Yeah, that was the change a couple patches ago that sort of brought Mirana back, that they buffed up her energy gain. Before that, she had been being run mostly as a support with that Ags build, but they nerfed the Ags and then buffed her Agi.
Van score? They're gonna get him here. First blood drawn by Dream. Proving that no matter what you level on Lich first, you can get kills.
And you know what? That's been a common factor across all three of these games, that Gambit has shown sort of the tricky lane switch ups early, but Empire has just put a strong dual lane top and say, we really don't care.
True. And honestly, you have got this matchup between Centaur and Tide, and I think it's more concerning if you don't shut down the Centaur than the Tide, because Centaur's going to do something sooner than the Tide Hunter can.
Yeah, and in this game especially, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
I mean, Centaur is just he's much less cooldown reliant than the Tide, until the Tide gets like his at least 2 items.
Oh, TP out by Dream. Goes back to his tower. He has got the Salve, so he doesn't care about the Poison Touch. Wait for that to end. But the hack, he took a lot of damage in that trade, and he doesn't have a Salve. So that's an effective trade for the Empire side in this bot lane. Meanwhile, Dazzle did do the D-Ward.
I'm okay with it, although you do have to keep an eye on... Void needs to get these last hits under tower, so he needs these 2 range creeps. As long as he gets... No. Okay, he got one of the 2. That's all right.
It's all right. Now we get the deny assistance of the Bash. It's just insane the way Bash works, especially seeing as those procs work with Quelling Blade.
No, they're really... Again...
Yeah, Dream's backing off. Ivanscore did have to commit 2 sentries to D-Ward this camp, so he didn't get the best value there. Just at least get some XP from that. Which means they have already got an XP advantage on the side of Gambit, as both of them are free compared to the 2s on the side of Empire.
Yeah, it tells you something about their attitude lane, because in a lot of situations, Dazzle is one of the best supports out there at contesting pulls. So in a lot of situations, the Dazzle will just go ahead and let them have access to that camp, but they really want to keep the Faceless Void last hitting under the shadow of his own tower here. Put passive damage on the tower and then use the Juggernaut to take it if they can get a kill.
The hack baited into actually using the spin that time. Dream wasn't going to hang around tank any extra damage, but it's like he can't afford to. The Poison Touch is so infuriating, especially as Vanscore keeps renewing it on time.
Yeah, and the Dire Scan does catch the rotation by the Rubik there. It picks up the haste rune and goes right back up. They can threaten a little bit, but they don't have to be scared of a gank on the mid.
Yeah, and so far Invoker, he's actually doing fairly well. We said he was going Quaswex. We expect him to be trailing behind the Mirana a bit, but he's not that far behind actually. Well,
it's one of the things as an Invoker. My favorite.
Sorry, you cut out there.
The best thing ever. But so I'm an Invoker spammer, and one of the things I really like about Invoker is that the Invoker, there's much less of a difference between Quaswex and the Exort builds. And oh boy, Vanscore, what did you do?
Vanscore goes down.
You're not supposed to die there.
Yeah, an interesting place to go down. I'm not sure we can be friends anymore, Alan. You kind of like shamed me for my game choices yesterday, but Invoker picker, I mean, really.
Dude, I was an Invoker picker back back when like Scandal was first discovering the Yules combo. So yeah, no.
You're not going to turn one of those people, are you? I hear that from I hear this stuff from Lizard enough.
When the hero sucked. Let's put it that way.
All right, I was just like, I don't go this way because I hear this from Lizard enough. He's always on about, it's like, oh yes, I discovered Meepo before No Tail did. I was the original guy who done it. Don't know why it sounds like Cole, but
I didn't discover anything. I just fiended Scandal's replays, man. Back in the 80s, and I mean, come on, we're talking about that in an Empire better time. That was his team.
That is true. But looking at this right now, we just had that long discussion and we're already actually seeing a difference in CS in that mid lane.
Yeah.
As it's growing quickly. But this is what you see. Triple Wraith Band.
It's gonna open it up a little bit for the Mirana for sure. Yeah, this Kodos has not yet taken his first point in Exort, which you've seen some of the top Invoker players doing more and more. I was getting ready to talk about the fact that, you know, the two Invoker builds, there's not as much of a difference. You've seen the top Invoker players start using closer to their full complement of spells from much earlier levels, but we are sort of more of a dedicated traditional Quas-Wex build here.
Yeah, the new style is the 2-2-2 that we've typically been seeing. No one especially leading the way on that.
And it's not just, you know, it's not just being able to switch between the three for efficiency purposes. It's that he's actually using his full complement of spells much earlier, which is just awesome to see.
I think one of the interesting things that a lot of people, unless they play a lot of Invoker, don't quite catch on to is mana investment in terms of spell usage as well.
Yes, your spells are very mana expensive, and they need to be very.
Just a ward going down from Lich.
The Aquila removal actually does hurt, right? Because he needs that mana regen.
What, on the Mirana especially? Like it's
no the Invokers.
Yeah, the Invoker. Like there's a lot.
Aquila was mandatory. Remember in the last patch.
I know. I think it affects both heroes kind of evenly. Like Mirana can at least go for the ball.
Oh,
because he wants to spam
Vanscore.
Oh no. No, he'll get away. He'll live. Healing ward, complementary, just to keep him up. But the hack is taking a lot of damage here. He has got the spin. Yeah. If he gets bashed once, he could die. Oh no, the gaze coming out of the bash as well. Dream, can he get another one? He could look for the time walk forward. The ward's going to end, but no bash luck for you.
Yeah, I feel like this bottom lane is going. Look, Lich Void is pretty strong, especially with the reworked Lich, but I feel like Jug Dazzle is just fine. And this bottom lane is going a lot better than I expected for Empire. I mean, they're putting a lot of pressure on.
I mean, if you want to see what's going well, have you checked in on MYS? You were worried about the guy, but he knows how to hit creeps.
Well, I like that after that last game that the team has given him a favorable lane configuration. They've said, look, you know, we believe in you, get you off to a good start. Unlike what happened in that last match, let's get you that first item let's get you that Vanguard pretty quick on your Centaur and get you off to the races. That's something. It's an adjustment that you make as a team when one of your individual players is out a bad game.
Nicely identified from the side of Empire in that regard. But who's the person for Gambit that you're looking at here going in the mid game? I feel like the pressures on Mirana to start rotating, right? Alpha Ninja has to try and find kills under these cores.
Sure. I mean, I think that they're going to get in another level or two, they're going to start getting natural tower pressure if the Juggernaut can do a little better. But yeah, I think the fact that the Juggernaut has... Oh, boy.
Stampede coming out allows Lich to escape. Meanwhile, though, Phoenix getting low here. We'll get away.
If he gets bashed here...
Oh, is he going to get bashed is the question, though.
You can't die again, buddy.
They're going to turn around. Vanscore is playing with Lich here. He gets bashed, actually. He might be in trouble. There's the gaze coming out. Lich tanking the wave. Mistakes made. The poison touch to get the kill. And Dream going to turn around here on the hack. He wants to kill the Vanscore, but no, the spin's coming out. Dream will time walk away the Chrono, though. He's waiting for the spin and then going in.
He could die.
Is he going to get it? No. He can't get the bash there. No, he doesn't want to go, though. Alpha Ninja moving in. Beautiful. The TP rotation on point.
He had to do that.
Oh.
He had to do that. I was just, before that engagement happened, I was just getting ready to say that unless that Juggernaut can catch up here, there's going to be an incredible amount of pressure on Alpha Ninja. He's going to have to create the space more or less by himself. But you know, that rotation there is so huge for him. It protects the Juggernaut. He's now got his 3 Wraith Brands up. He can now start bringing that native tower pressure. And Mirana's really not going to miss that much farm because they're going to be able to give King R a couple of waves of XP mid.
True, and Jug could potentially compete once he comes back to the lane because he's going for... Oh no, is he changed his mind? He was going to go for the 4th Wraith Band, which I kind of liked in this scenario because you have got that built-in crit. whereas Faceless Void has stopped at 3.
Oh,
Oh, look at this.
Don't protect the bounty runes though.
They are
Could have
still
easily.
here.
I feel like Gambit could easily have had 3 bounties.
Apparently not. Instead, they just get 2 apiece each side. They let MYS do whatever he wants this game.
Yeah, come on, Henrik. Runes. Gotta be mindful of that.
Like that should. I genuinely think teams who are scrimming should actually have to have that played. Like there should be a coach watching, and whenever the timer comes up, you just play like audio log.
Spoiler, there is. Like, I mean, that is something that once again, you basically have a buzzer in scrims right now.
Huh? I could see it. I could see it. I mean, it's not as fun as like.
And your buzzer goes off like 30 seconds before, by the way, just in case you're, in case you're practicing with your friend.
I'm a little bit upset there isn't some sort of shock treatment involved. It's a little shock collar.
Well, you never know. If I were still working with Kyle, there would be.
Kind of saw that one coming.
He needs it. I mean, come on. We all love Kyle, but he needs it.
You don't act like there's not some sort of satisfaction in this. All right, Alan. I'm not being fooled here. It's not just that he needs it. It's that you need it.
Get fooled again.
Fool me once, shame on me.
Yeah. Okay. Little Kodos might be trying to make a play here. He's just got his urn freshly up on the Invoker. He's Ghost Walk. Little Ghost Walk rotation bottom here. Gonna try and catch at least the Dazzle in the jungle.
No, they're gonna find nothing. They can take the tower though. Like, they've got 4 heroes here. If they don't take the tower, they have no value out of this at all.
Yeah, and look at both teams using the scan. The Radiant was okay. Where the heck?
Okay, fan score. We need to talk. Gaze comes out and finally get the Grave out and go for the TP. There's the cold snap. You're not leaving, he says. Kodos wants his kills. Well, it was an interesting way to walk. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, MYS moving in. Actually, Stampede to slow them up. It's too late.
Wow.
They had Chrono as well. If he lasted long enough there. But, oh, you go for this Vanguard. It does leave you slightly susceptible to the magic damage element of the side of Gambit.
And this is an equally important part of that adaptation. Once that you recognize that there are 4 heroes bottom, not only do you safe to go on that Centaur mid, but you rotate your Juggernaut top, and you have this remarkably effective 2-man push behind the healing ward here. You're going to end up with a 1-for-1 tower trade out of all this, on top of the hero kill.
Looks to be that way, and when you look at the mid as well, there's a lot more damage done to Empire's tower than there is to Gambit's, and they are already circling. They want to actually push on this and take the tower.
Yep.
I mean, like Shadow.
I mean, the Gambit should be. They know they are stronger right now. You have this Booker that just finished.
Kulich. Ravage comes out, connects onto 2 there. The Frosty will not protect. They're going to get rid of the Invoker. And, well, that's actually a Chain Frost thrown out for nothing.
Yeah, that's the best kill that you could possibly get there. I think the Invoker is a higher value kill at this point in the game than the Void.
Most definitely. And Akulich just sneaking in by cutting the trees there. He didn't even hesitate to hold it.
Yeah, and you now secure a tower advantage. Let's calm down a little bit here, Vanscore.
Okay, yeah, Vanscore needs to back away here. Sayu has got the egg. He'd love an opportunity to use it. Vanscore, that's not the way to walk. Dream, he thinks about it, but he doesn't know who's behind him. Vanscore, he's might tick out. He's got the Shallow Grave, though. A little bit too close for comfort. Meanwhile, on the top,
I mean,
there's a little bit
up here. He's got his Omni Slash, so he's not necessarily under threat, but...
I mean, he can't kill with it either, though. That's the problem. MYS is so
yeah, exactly. Oof.
Things are going to quiet down for a moment, but not for long, because Dream, he has got the Mask of Madness now, and he has got the Chrono available. He wants an opportunity to use this.
Well, it's important. Empire is the side that wants it to be quiet right now. They want to have a few more minutes to get this Void Invoker combo fully online, whereas the side on Gambit, they're ready to go right now.
Oh, MYS.
Stampede used a little bit of offense.
Gambit stole it. He'll move away. Dream was on the move with the Chrono. Maybe he finds King Arn time. There's going to be a TP away and no opportunity to trap him.
Nice Rubik steal there. All right, I didn't see that.
King Arn on point so far. He turned around just in time, actually. Like, he was running away. He had to do the turn. I think Centaur was them winding up the Stomp. So,
yeah, again, that's the biggest, as a guy that has spanned Centaur in the past too, the biggest drawback of that spell animation on that Stomp.
Sure. The difference is you can Stampede. Once you get a Blink, especially, you just basically make sure they can't blink away by dealing damage. But
So we're going to probably catch the Phoenix here by the top room, but that's not the target that you wanted if you're Gambit.
Well,
four there.
You can turn this into a tower push, though, Alan. There's runes, there's towers. Go for it.
By the time you get the rune and you get the power push, and you recognize that we'll trade.
Well, looks like they will set up that push. There will be a trade again, as you said.
That tower, I mean, that tower was like 30% to begin with, so I think in your mind you've kind of already conceded that.
Yeah, they've given up on trying to protect it. I mean, that tower is more important than one bot, but these other towers, the tier 1s especially, not most crucial.
Yeah, and I think I really like, I think Empire is in, I like this line of observer work, right, on the Empire side. I mean, they feel very safe, okay, on their side of the map. They know sometimes an apparently offensive set of wards.
Oh, Chrono, the bot lane, the egg
go.
gets dropped as well. Ninja's been found, no chance for a Shallow Grave, and Vanscore hangs around a little bit too long. Older Coolidge pretty deep here, the stun's gonna pop, and now trying for the Shallow Grave, but he can't get out. The cold snap so on point, Tornado through, and Tide Hunter, he has no friends left here. The Ravage won't be thrown out because there's no value.
So tanky, but it doesn't matter.
They'll take their time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll put on their eating clothes, they'll put on their bibs, they'll get their knife and fork nice and sharp.
Yeah, a little bit puzzling there by a little bit of a misplay by Gambit, but again, it's you have so much information, right, on the side of Empire about where the enemy team is on the map that you can set up that play with very little fear of reprisal.
Absolutely. It's just that all you have to really see in the scenarios is I think your biggest threat right now is the Jug, because obviously even if you Chrono, if he gets an Omni Slash off, you might be in trouble. But speaking of that Jug, he's going for this.
I mean, they know that the big Wombo combo is down, right? But
there's still Stampede as an Invoker.
You're gonna have plenty of time to respond.
Yeah, that's the concern. It's like there's a Stampede, there's an Invoker. They could still interrupt this.
And Empire have once again Empire. Okay, guys, like they have all the information in the world. They know exactly what's going on.
Well, the ping just came out, but they may be a little bit too late now.
Come on, guys. I mean, you know where all the heroes are.
Well, there you go. Sunstrike reveals it, but what can you do now? Manscore spots out save.
Look at you can tell a lot, right? Look at Black Angel's frustration there, right? He's the one pinging the Roche Pit. He's drawing the line. He's like, we have a line of wards here on the enemy side of the map. We knew that was coming, guys. Come on.
Yeah, there's definitely questions that will be asked about that. That was the perfect time. Like, yes, you don't have the Chrono, but as we're saying, Invoker, he can still disrupt everything there. You still have a Stampede. You have favorable positioning, and you would have had Chain Frost.
It's we have the information, but you still have to make the correct decisions on what to do with it.
As a result of that, Gambit can now push.
That's a nice support Rubik Yule's pickup there. That's a potentially very high value item when you being able to pull the Phoenix out of the dive. Talk about being able to isolate a target while Stampede is going on. And
the Chrono as well. If you don't get caught and you're on the right side, good luck with a good Chrono. Stampede being used. They're scared of Tide. He does still have the Ravage. Tornado through in the Ice Ball down to make sure he can't pursue on the back foot. Gaze comes out. King R, he's been spotted. There won't be a big Yule's reveal, but he is still under the Frost Armor. Gonna drag Archangel back in. He's taking a lot of damage.
Look at this. Taste your own medicine there, bud.
They're gonna get the kill onto the Lich, but they're chasing for more. Kodos does go invis. The poison touch on him, but they're guessing wrong. Ooh. They can't renew the damage. That is going to be too close for comfort, but it looks like Invoker will live.
Oh, man. But
Wait.
he needed to duck behind that tree because Tide could have gushed him to death.
Yeah, well, that was the thing, because Tide saw him. I thought he'd walk over, because if he anchor smashed there, he actually would have killed him.
Well, and the fact that, remember, with all the changes to Gush, that is 210 damage from a level 1 Gush now. That kills Invoker pretty much by itself there.
That's true. Well, even the anchor smash, that's my point, though. He didn't even need vision. He just ignored it. Chrono on the top.
Yeah, that's true.
Half a Ninja got spotted. Dream, is he going to get the bash luck? Yes, he is. That's the Aegis gone.
Yeah, so there's your Aegis.
Can they set up for this, though? They're going to blink forward. Stomp comes out. They'll take kill on the King R instead. Alpha Ninja. Oh, my God. The bodyguard. And Seiyu blocks the arrow out from Alpha Ninja. Now the Sunray's coming out. The leap is not point. He's got one left. But look at this. They can move forward. Can they get him, though? The healer will in time. The Omni Slash comes out. Dream taking a lot of damage. The boys start to slow him down. They commit the egg. Can you go deeper, Dahak? He's going to go for this. They'll be able to cancel off the egg.
Yeah,
and
he
now,
gets the egg
Dream,
with the Blade Fear. That's what we talked about.
Dream is going in. No bashes. Oh, he won't get any at all. And meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Akulich is playing with people here. Lich, half his HP pool in one hit there. Just your casual physical damage Tide Hunter, as you do.
No, that's the new when we talk about sort of the new Tide Hunter with stacking with the gush, and the armor reduction, and the anchor smash physical damage. You don't need Ravage.
I was gonna say, speaking of the Tide, MYS held on to the stomp. He didn't want to use it yet. There we go. Cold Snap comes out. Now they'll be able to finish him off.
Yeah, the Cold Snap makes the stomp a reliable stun, even with that half-second animation.
That's definitely. So they get the kill. A favorable trade for them. They won't be happy about the way the top fight went, though. Especially seeing as now that Chrono's gone. Sure, they no longer have Vegas, but they no longer have anything to be worried about on the side of Gambit.
Yeah, and the pipe pickup by the Tide Hunter, it very, very important.
Phoenix? He's already used the die.
Game.
Arrow's going to connect, and he's going to be gone. Seiyu once more dying here. Kodos arrives. Tornado connecting on it to the MP. No. Spin comes out from Dahak. They're going to chase down Kodos. He's not got much mana left. He'll throw out the Ice Wall. That should buy him time to move away. But Afro Ninja, he's already on the track. He knows where you go. They'll get the kill.
Yeah, he had used the Ghost Walk there and was bad on his mana situation.
Yeah, rough. We were saying in the laning phase, this is the kind of thing the hero Invoker seems amazing. He's got all these spells. He's still at a stage where he can run out of mana, as he proved.
Well, and you look at the damage type composition here coming out of the side of the Dire. They have the pipe to deal with the Invoker spell combo, and Void, his physical damage is not online yet. You know, Empire is not ready to fight right now.
That's right. But you know who is? Gambit. Another tower. They say, let's keep going. Why are we stopping here? Ball's coming out. Looks like Lich had some connection issues. That might explain his overly aggressive positioning forward to this tower.
And when you talk about the race to BKBs, right? I mean, Empire is just nowhere near the Void. You can't argue with the choice. Maelstrom, Mask of Madness, pretty good in this game. He knows he's going to need to do most of the physical damage. You know, the Invoker just got his Ags, but I mean, the BKBs are still another probably 7 minutes away. And until that point, you know, you have a decided advantage here on the side of Gambit.
Yeah, these Chronos aren't threatening. It's not just like Void doesn't just have to deliver damage. Like you said, he needs that magic immunity in his Chronos to do the damage because you've got the Arrow, you've got the Lift, the Yules, the Ravage. There's so many things. Yeah,
and you've got the save on top of it. Even if crowd control fails, you can guarantee that Void's not going to be able to use it on a. So, you know, that's something that you often see Voids do when they know that they're vulnerable to using their Chronosphere in a team fight because of no BKB, is that they use their Chronosphere for pickoffs. But the presence of the save with Dazzle even makes that not necessarily a great strategy. Yeah.
They definitely need two things here right now in Empire. You already mentioned the BKB. The other thing is what MYS is on his way towards. He needs to get his hands on an Axe.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, that's where you start to say, okay, fine, we've got damage issues, but with the Centaur Ags, you know, the other team immediately.
There we go. So, looks like he's back in. We should be able to get underway. I'm looking at what the focus is for both teams. We already said about Empire. Gambit, I feel like they could potentially threaten high ground here. Like, you just stick one person forward. Like, especially with Juggernaut healing forward.
No, I mean, you got all your stuff up. You got Ravage, which they really have to respect.
Instead, they decide they actually want to expose the whole base, which is another short shout.
Yeah.
We see a lot of teams focus on doing this instead of just going straight into the base.
No, it was one of the things that we saw prolong the game in the previous match. That tier 2 Radiant top tower was up for so long, and Gambit's going to say, "Look, we've learned something from that last match. We're not going to repeat the mistake that was made against us." And that tower is already down to 15% health.
Yeah, it won't survive the night. Well, we're in the day. We're not even out the night. I think it's got about 20 seconds left. I don't think you even try and defend this. You can smoke, though.
In my head, I'm still like, what do you mean? It's 22 minutes now. Change the day-night cycle, guys.
Gotta deal with it.
Night Stalker players confused.
People didn't like the math, right? Adding up in 5s is much easier than 4s.
All right, setting up for a team fight here, but this is going to be pretty scary on the Dire side.
Yeah, Kulich is not a good entry kill for them. They know it.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just look how much damage Centaur took from Anchor Smash. Like, that is the threat that awaits you if you continue. As a result, all outer towers for Empire already down at 22.5 minutes in. From here...
Boy.
I mean, the good news for them is they're not the highest level, so a big boo-boo, you can respawn in time before you lose your whole base. But you don't want to think about the game like that. It's a horrible way to have to think about your game.
Okay, well, you can see exactly what Empire wants to do here. You know, Black Angel saying, look, guys, we need to get together. You know, we know we're not necessarily hugely strong at this point, but we know Moonlight Shadow's been used, and we need to apply some pressure to the opposing side of the map.
It's all about that Ravage, though. Ravage just never being used. It's insurance policy developed to Gambit.
Yeah, that's just the old puppy trope, the threat of the black hole being more significant than the black hole that implies to Ravage in this match.
Does indeed, especially considering, as we said, no magic immunity available in Empire, and honestly, this is the downside to having your Agi carry, is he tends to remain pretty squishy to magical damage. NYS? Well, they actually bring back Tide to make sure this push can't help. Oh, Void jumping in. Chrono comes out, goes straight on to King Arthur. Sunstrike's going to be there. They'll get rid of him first. Now they need to turn around and try to get rid of Tide, but TP's coming in. There's the Ravage. The turnaround's going to be the arrow through. The damage from the Starstorm. They get the kill into the Void, moving forward. Stampede comes out. NYS stay alive. There's the Meatball. They push him back, trying to move away. Mirana can't fight just yet. And now the Egg perfectly placed. The Chain Frost will bounce as well. The damage is quite large, but is it enough? Tide Hunter just shrugs it all off. The hack getting low. Shallow Grave to protect. NYS chasing even deeper. Fanscore. He makes sure that he slows down the Poison Touch. Sunstrike will not be on the mark. Fanscore might tick out to the burns, but in the meantime, NYS will fall.
Oh, no.
And now Kodos, Invoker, going to get invis in time. Can they get close enough? They haven't got detection. They won't be able to get an Anchor Smash off either. They have got Dust, but nowhere nearby.
Yeah, but you can see the pressure, just the pressure of the presence of that save, that they're forced to blow the Chrono a little bit early down the depth side of the Chronosphere, but that means that by the time that Invoker joins the fight, I mean, his big Wombo combo is Tornado Deafening onto the Mirana. I mean, it really, most of his spell combo hits one enemy hero.
I'll give him credit on this. Using it on the Mirana did mean that the egg went off, but that to kind of highlight...
Well, yeah, he had to do it.
Yeah, in conflict to that, though, the fair point to make here is, okay, that was actually a favorable scenario for you then, Empire, and you still lose the fight pretty damn convincingly.
Oh, yeah, it's just, they're just so, again, you go back to, and you see Void, you know, he's got the BKBs, you know, the Invoker has it queued up. Before the BKBs come out, Empire is just so much weaker.
Yep, they're going to be vulnerable like this for another 3-4 minutes, probably. And
yeah, I'm telling you, that window's closing. I mean, Gambit is time on their side of the map in between fights right. I think they may be underestimating once the BKBs come out from the two top cores on the side of Empire, how much that's going to shift the power dynamics in this game.
That's the thing. I would honestly be okay with Gambit assaulting base right now, because you knew the Chrono was
absolutely
down. But now it's going to be too late.
To be fair, like they're following a pretty standard playbook, right? Okay, the other team has all its outer towers down. They're not going to be able to. But you know, the importance of BKBs, it was already the most important big item in Dota, and it's become even more so in this patch.
DD has been found. They'll save that because when Roche is up, if Gambit get the hands on that, then by the typical book, the playbook, then once you get Roche, you can go high ground. So that's probably what Gambit's waiting for. And the question is, oh, it's a minute and a half. Is that going to be enough time for Void to get his BKB? It's going to be close. He actually is closing in at a reasonable rate. Sadly, it's deceptive, of course, because BKBs, they do cost more now, courtesy of the increase of the recipe cost.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I think that was sort of the token offset there.
But it takes you a little bit longer to get it.
It does, just a little bit.
Just a tinsy little slice. 1 or 2 more creeps, which is an extra creep camp, which means you spend an extra 20 seconds maybe running and finding it, you know?
A little chaos theory applied to Dota, my friend.
There we go. Dream. They're going to move in. Oh, no, he time walks away. King R, he actually didn't think you stand there, so he missed the opportunity. He does steal the time walk, though.
Yeah, that's the other sort of ingredient in that calculus, is that catch the Invoker and the Void before they farm those BKBs. That setback becomes so much more significant. I like the ability. Both teams have the sort of bait to dangle, right? You know, that Tide, go ahead, guys. Initiate on me. Same with the Centaur you saw in that dire secondary jungle fight a few minutes ago. I
mean, Tide is genuinely just at this point. It's like when you go to an all-you-can-eat restaurant. Oh, no. When you go to one of those challenge restaurants where it's like, can you eat this whole steak?
Yep.
And they're just sitting there like, I'm too full. I can't keep going. There's nothing left in me. All right, you win. Take my money. That is the state of Tide. But you give it another 5 minutes.
Also, by the way, I think Mech is back in this patch too. I think you're going to see a lot more Mech. They introduced
No, it's fair. There is some value in it now. Especially, like, we're talking a lot about the death ball meta and how that's coming back. And these quicker finish times means that actually mech still stays relevant.
Sunstrike for information there. They're going to confirm that
They're nowhere near.
is in the Roche pit. I don't know that they can really do much about it.
They can't. They still don't have the BKB. They're just a little bit short.
Oh, boy. Yeah, the timing is super unfortunate. You know, Kodos may get the gold. Gonna have.
I mean, Kodos will get the tower down to about half HP. He will not get the tower, though. That's the problem. Oh, we go.
And again, it's important. The Aegis is a big counter to these sort of wombo combo teamfight lineups because it more likely to force those big teamfight spells onto.
That was unfortunate.
Uses himself there, yeah.
Yep. King Ar's moving in, though. They still see MIS. Stampede comes out. They lift him. They steal the Stampede, and the damage is already pretty big down to half HP. Stomp will be there, but it won't matter. As older Kulich arrives, there is no escape for this Centaur. Even if this is a lit. Ravage, they say, what the hell? Bonus kills. Chain Frost bouncing around as well. Tornado through. Can they follow up?
Guys, what are you doing?
No! He only hits with the Tide Hunter. They can drop the egg as well. The Meeple, everything just for a Tide kill. But Ninja on the back line, trying to get the kill on the egg. This shallow grave to protect the disarm a little bit too late. And now he can move forward. The Chrono stolen. You still didn't focus. No! The turnaround! King R on point again as the side of Gambit wipe Empire completely.
What are you doing there? There is no reason to take that fight. I mean, your Centaur, like, at no point there was Gambit at risk, right? I mean, the Rubik had Stampede from the very beginning. They were completely safe in that fight, and eventually just gets the Chrono. Talk about an upgrade. But they could have disengaged at any time, and the Centaur player has to be shouting that to his team. Get out. You aren't going to get those kills.
And the moment you commit that Chrono on Tide, sure, you maybe can almost get him. But even if you do get that kill, you're going to have to expend everything in your arsenal just for one.
I mean, you're committing the not only the Chrono, but the full Invoker combo onto the Pipe Tide. And I mean, remember, it's an obvious point, but the Pipe is not just the barrier. The Pipe Holder also gets the active 30% MR on top, and it's a Tide Hunter. Like, his EHP against Magical is probably sitting around 4K.
It's pretty insane. Well, they're just moving around the base doing what they want right now. Killer should be the last one out. But look at this. They try for a backstab. MYS got caught down to half HP already. The minus armor hurting a lot. Stampede's being used. The meaty ball doesn't really achieve much. And the final hit comes out. Centaur's down. Seiyu, they know he doesn't have the egg, so they can aggressive as hard as they want. The buyback coming out from Centaur on the back foot. There is a chase going on here. Omni Slash being used. Can it do enough? Yes. They'll actually be able to bring down the Void. Looking around. Lich getting low as well. Can the Kulich finish him off? Probably. Gush is on cooldown. Anchor Smash out. The illusion finishes off the Lich. And they will go back into the base. And Gambit, this actually might be game winning now. Oh, double edge stomp. What is Ninja doing? He's still got the Aegis, but
it's fine. I mean, he's got a save and he's got the Aegis.
Yep, cold snap. They'll finally tick him out. He says, "Okay, we toyed with you enough."
Aegis for the second lane of Rax. You love that trade.
And now
Tide taunting with the maelstrom. You know,
I mean, he does whatever he wants.
Shield.
Who the hell can kill a Kulich right now?
Nobody.
As a result, that's going to be Mega Creeps and Empire. I don't know if they have the means to deal with Mega Creeps. They have to stop this somehow. The hack has the Omni Slash. Oh, there you go. Kill an Invoker. Buyback comes out straight away. Your last hope. But when are you going to throw it out there? The Chrono is available now, but it's going to be a little bit too late. All your Raxes are gone. MYS getting low in the meantime. Akulich running him down the burns. He doesn't even care. The Sunray might hurt a little bit. The Chrono thrown out. Gets the kill into Alpha Ninja. But the hack is still free to do what he wants. He doesn't have the mana for the Omni Slash. He does have Shiso. There it is. Goes out. BKB from Groove does nothing as he just evaporates. They'll move in. Egg has been dropped. Buyback comes out from Void. The gaze to drag Tide Hunter in. But where's your damage? How are you going to deal with this man here? He's just going to walk it off. He's still got the Greaves to work with. Moving forward. There it is. Ravage comes out. The hack. He can move in now. The crit on the Invoker. Kodos down to half HP. Will go in, but save left behind with the Sunray. Just trying to defend himself. The meatball on the side, but the spin dodges out. Now hold him in place. They'll get the kill on the Invoker, and Dream is a little bit too deep. He's got the time warp, but there it is. The stolen Chrono on the MYS. And Alpha Ninja says, "What are you doing? I'm trying to kill this guy here." They'll finish off. Omni Slash, not even needed. Every time I damn well see that bash effect, I think it's an Omni Slash. As GG gets called, it's gonna be Gambit taking a pretty damn convincing game 3 against Empire.
Yeah, you have to feel for Empire Hope. I mean, they series in hand with a commanding lead around 30 minutes in game 2. Really kind of choked that game away a little bit, and then game 3, I feel like whole greedy draft concept as a criticism gets overused, but I do think it's relevant here. That you got to look at that other side and you say, okay, fine, if we get BKBs up, we're going to have a huge advantage, but are we going to be able to get to that point? And you've got to wonder if some of the hangover from the 0-15 StarLadder game bled over to game 3 with MYS. That really is on him when he gets picked off in that critical top lane fight. You know that Rubik just stole Stampede. You've got to be screaming at your team, get back, guys. You cannot commit to this. Empire, unfortunately, trickle in one at a time and die, and that is the beginning of the proverbial end.
Yeah, it was all downhill from there as the win rate, the goal, XP, everything just started to spike minute after minute as it passed. And honestly, it's just that BKB, we talked about how big of a difference it can make, and they might have been able to get it in time if it wasn't for a few key mistakes trying to take fights they shouldn't have. Right?
Well, I mean, Void finishes his, but Invoker doesn't. Right, I mean, by the end of the game,
it's not just that.
It's
the fact that we saw the final one, right? You get the BKB, and at that point, Juggernaut hits so freaking hard and so freaking fast, you can't even time walk it off. You're dead.
Yeah, and they already have the tool. The utility items coming out on the other side. You know, the purpose of the BKB is to allow you to get that spell combo off cleanly and sort of on multiple enemy heroes, but you've already got the tools on the opposite side, from the pipe on the Tidehunter, you know, to the Yules on the Rubik, to the save, the Shadowgrave on the Dazzle, to sort of disrupt that spell combo. And I don't think we saw the full Tornado Meteor Deafening combo on more than like one, maybe two enemy heroes that entire game.
It's pretty much always one. So Marana in one case and Tidehunter in the other, and that kind of says the story. Is you take this Quasworks Invoker, he couldn't be anywhere near as active as we typically see it be.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, that's a big comeback for Gambit eSports. These are veteran players on that other team playing with a lot of pride. When you talk about, these guys have been around as long as anybody in the CIS scene, and for them to pull a comeback like this is big momentum for them.
It is, and as a result, Team Empire Hope are eliminated. Gambit eSports do go on, and I believe they are going to play after the current series. We won't be covering that. That's going to be on Channel 1. Everything else for CIS will be Channel 1, unless I don't know, is the SEA game still going on? I think they switched over. Yeah, they switched over.
I believe TNC has already qualified.
Okay, yes, they have.
Congratulations to them, and best of luck. Really, hope to Cuckoo on that main stage. Hope that situation gets resolved, because I think, obviously he made a mistake, but TNC as an organization have done about all they can to make that situation make the best of a really, really unfortunate thing. So but I hope that this Team Empire team will stay together and build on this, because this is a team that sort of, people were memeing about at the start of these qualifiers. Not much was expected. They dropped their first series 2-0 against the same Gambit squad. And I mean, they've shown remarkable improvement here in the course of less than 2 days to take the same squad that just trounced them at the beginning of the quals here to the brink of elimination.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like when I saw the two squads announced, I think most people inside and out of like talent players, even like the regular spectators, could see the other roster of Team Empire looked like the sure deal. That was the one that people expected things from. But for them to not even make it through to this stage, instead Hope making it through and actually proving there's some hope for them as a team. Because like we said, 2-0 at the start of these groups, and then they were just smashing through everyone but VP. They almost take Gambit here. I'm looking forward to these guys in the coming weeks and the coming tournaments.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think a lot of people looked at the CIS region and they said, okay, it's pro, and then who cares? And obviously every one of these teams apart from VP has some work to do, but I think you've seen enough, particularly from a team like Nopango in these qualifiers. There's still a lot of talent in this region. There's a hell of a lot of talent, and that's been true for years. And the question is whether it can organize itself into stable squads with enough resources around them, coaching and stable organizations to really blossom over time. I think that possibility is still there.
Well, that does mean that we are done for the day, Alan. But don't worry, everyone. We are back tomorrow. Probably going to be on this channel, I'd imagine. As far as I'm aware, it is going to be BTS 2 that we're covering on for the rest of this Nahaz. And tomorrow, EU qualifiers begin. You know who we've got to begin with?
Who?
We've got our Swedish showdown. Not a true Swedish showdown, though, like a fake one. It's NIP versus the Final Tribe.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That could be good.
That should be really cool, right? And a lot of teams that EU playing with.
Oh, say again, you cut out there.
A lot of teams that EU qualifier are going to be playing with a chip on their shoulder. Only 3 slots up for what a lot of people feel should be 4 teams going to the majors. So, NIP in particular is going to have to play every match like their tournament life depends on it.
Definitely. And honestly, the other thing to look at here is everyone's going to NIP win this easily. Gotta give credit to TFT. It might have not been an organized squad, but they did beat the crap out of 3 TI winners in the WESG qualifiers, right? Give them some credit.
I know. So I know these TFT guys personally. I mean, I obviously know Simon very much, and has been a guy I've been in touch with for years now. He's I know his family. Like, he's a tremendous kid. It's just that team has just not progressed as we've expected. That is a team that I expected to be ahead of, for example, where this Alliance roster is right now. And they've had some setbacks. They've changed up the roster a little bit in comparison. Chessie's shown some flashes at that mid position. It's a tall ask, because I think NIP probably are knocking on being a top 5 team right now.
Yeah, no, that's a fair way of looking at it. I mean, it's hard to fully gauge or measure their performance at KL because it was a stand-in. And, well, they proved the stand-in logic wrong that, you definitely do worse with a stand-in. That arguably they played the best they have.
Okay, you don't prove anything when it's mind control who's your stand-in. But the point is that I think 33 he's a very different player than mind control is, but I think he is every bit as good in terms of what he can bring to the table for the team if he's utilized properly. I think he becomes a player like 33 becomes particularly scary when you've got a new patch like this, because of the breadth of his hero pool and just the fact that he plays the game differently anyway. And he's going to be able to find a lot of these sort of borderline exploits. I mean, I think NIP is going to be a really fun team to follow.
Yep. See if they can. Well, that is the team that has been in love with Drow. Actually, that's what's going to intrigue me the most with the changes of Drow. Whether they are still very much on the Drow bandwagon.
Yep.
Well, that means we're done here today, guys. You can go across, catch the rest of the action, because you still got to decide who's going to make it from the CIS region. There is currently 1 slot being played for between Virtus Pro and No Pangolier, and then whoever loses that will play up against Gambit for the 2nd spot of the CIS region. But we're done. We'll see you tomorrow. Have fun.